Welcome to The Dark Side with Verity, a podcast where we dive into all the real and raw transformations made possible through breathwork. We all have a dark side, but it doesn't need to be heavy. And this is why we share stories to bring in the lightness, to lift the load so that we can all feel a little less alone and know that our stuff doesn't define us. And we move through this lifetime with more ease and grace. Let's dive right in. Welcome to another episode of The Dark Side with Verity. Today, this one's top of mind for me right now because I'm listening to the audiobook Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. And it's working on your money mindset. So I have done this work many, many times. Whenever I start a new business, it's always something that when you're setting something up, it comes into play. However, it can be, when you're not feeling the best and then you go for a walk, you're like, oh, I feel amazing now. Or you're feeling frustrated and then you do a 3-minute breath and you remember how amazing that makes you feel. Same game. This is stuff that I knew, but it feels revitalized in my body and it's been amazing. So I want to walk you through what happens in a millionaire's mind, millionaire's body, right before they level up. Because we don't all just stay on this one flat line. Some of the humans in this world do, not us, not if you're listening to this. Let's begin with our breath. So close your eyes. Let's take a big breath and sigh it out, let it go. Let's take one more, the biggest breath you've taken today. Feel your belly, feel your chest, expand through your lungs and let it all go. Beautiful. Welcome. I want to ask you something. Think about the last time you were on the edge of something big, a decision that would change the trajectory of your business, a conversation you've been putting off for months, a price increase that every time you go to do it, it feels like terrifying in your body and you feel sick, the leap before you knew you had to take it. Those moments where you know there's something on the other side, what's happening in your body, not in your head. Not the thoughts, not the pros and cons list, not the rationalizing, not asking every single person in your family, in your friend group, all of the things in your body. Let's do this now. Close your eyes. Drop into your body and feel. Notice. Did your chest tighten? Did your breathing get shallow? Did you suddenly feel like the 17 other things needed to be done now? Been there. I've sat across from and worked with people who run 8-figure businesses, people who have built things most people only dream about. And I've watched every single one of them do a version of that. Right at the threshold of the next level, the body contracts. And today I want to talk about why, because this isn't a mindset problem. This isn't a confidence problem. And it has absolutely nothing to do whether you're worthy enough, good enough, or you want it badly enough. Because these people running these businesses aren't sitting in poor me victim. They're like, this is coming up. Why? How do I get rid of it? How do I move through it quicker? Because this is a nervous system event. And once you understand what's actually happening in your body at this threshold, everything changes. Let me give you a little bit of biology first. Your nervous system has one job and one job only, and that's to keep you alive. Not happy, not successful, not growing, just alive. And it's been doing that job for about 500 million years. It's doing a great one, right? The part of your nervous system responsible for threat detection, your autonomic nervous system, cannot distinguish between a lion chasing you across the desert and a business decision that may just change the trajectory of your life. Both are very unfamiliar, both are uncertain, both require you to leave the known world and step into the unknown. And to your nervous system, unknown equals potential threat. So it does what it's always done for all of these years. It activates. Heart rate goes up, breath gets shorter and tighter in your chest, digestion slows, cognitive function, your brain just goes the higher thinking, the creativity, the long-term planning, everything goes offline. Your body is redirecting your resources from growth to survival. And this is not because you're weak, because you're human and your nervous system is doing exactly what it has evolved to do. The problem is you're not being chased by a lion. Let's be real, that's not a problem. It's that you're standing at the door of your next level and your body is treating it the same way. That. So, this is where the polyvagal theory comes into play. It's developed by neuroscientists to help us understand that we have three main states. The first one is your ventral vagal. So, this is when you're regulated, connected, your creativity flows. This is where you make your best decisions. This is where you can see your opportunity or your pathway clearly. So, that next big step, you think, okay, positively, this is going to work out. You can see it all play out. You can visualize. It feels good in your body. You know you can handle whatever comes your way. The second, this is sympathetic activation. This is when your body is in fight or flight. This is when your body goes, let's just pause. This is not a bad state, by the way. It is important. It protects us. It's just that decisions made in this state are probably not going to be the same ones you make when you're regulated because you're in that mode of doing everything else first. You're about to launch and then you decide you need to create 10 other programs. You're supposed to have that conversation with that person and you suddenly become really busy doing your dishes. Whatever it is. This is a state where your body goes, I'm off. I'll deal with that later. Ignore. The third one is your dorsal vagal where everything shuts down and freezes. This is where you just go numb, you avoid, and where you convince yourself that you're not ready. When in this world has anyone been ready to do something new? It's new. You don't know what to do. And the more you learn that you'll never know. So be that person that just gives it a go. We don't try because try is not a thing. We just do and see what happens. Here's what I want you to notice. Every one of those states has been reported to me by high functioning, high performing, successful, driven people. And right at the threshold of their next level, the fight response shows up. In a way, potentially it's aggression, control, picking fights with staff, with family members, right before the big thing, whether it's a launch, that decision, all of a sudden it's everybody else's problem. And that fight response is your body getting busy, very distracted. You've got to do all these really important things. This is the dorsal shutdown. And it shows up as the entrepreneur who goes quiet right before their biggest opportunity or their biggest launch. None of them think of this as a nervous system response. They think it's being strategic. They think they're not ready. They think the timing is wrong. Timing is never wrong. The nervous system, your nervous system is just doing its job. I'm going to tell you about a few people, clients that I work with. I'm not going to use names. All I want you to do is recognize the patterns. The first person ran a business doing multiple seven figures. By any external measures, winning. Every time she was about to cross into that next bracket, a new team member, a bigger offer, a partnership that would potentially double her reach, she would get sick. Not dramatically, but just enough. A cold that lasted a week, a migraine that meant she had to go underground, dark room, lock herself, an old flare up on her skin. And she came to me thinking that she had a health problem. She didn't. She had a nervous system that learned somewhere along the way. It ended up being when she was younger that big growth meant danger. And the more visibility meant exposure. And that next level felt like threat, a threat that her body couldn't name. So because she couldn't mentally and rationalize it and understand it, her body was like, we will make this physical for you. Because remember, the body's job is to always protect you from perceived threat, even when the threat is for your own growth, for your own expansion. It's wild when you get this. The second is a practitioner, brilliant, deeply skilled. Clients adored her. And every time she went to raise her prices, something happened. A client would cancel exactly at the wrong moment. And instead of it just being a cancellation, she would take it personally. And she'd suddenly decide she needed more training, she needed more certificates, she wasn't qualified enough to charge what she wanted. She'd look at other practitioners, she would compare and convince herself that if she were more experienced, more credible, better, when what she was actually experiencing was a nervous system that equated charging more to being rejected. And rejection, something again that had happened much earlier in her life, had been dangerous. So her nervous system was protecting her. The best part about this one is when we got down to it and her having her millionaire mindset is that she was no longer in the category of charging money for time. It became money for results. And if you know anything in business, this is where you need to go. Because if you don't trust your results and what you're delivering, why are you in business? It's going to expose you, and that is a good thing. Because if you are great at your profession, you love what you do, you know you get your clients' results, your body has no problem in charging what that is worth. And 9 times out of 10, it is nothing to do with time money correlation. So her nervous system was not protecting her from failure, from the vulnerability of asking to be valued at her full worth. And only you can determine your worth. Imagine I say to you, you are so worthy. Does that make any difference whatsoever? No. All of this is internal work. Somebody else, me, anyone can give you the tools. Your mind, your body, your soul has to just know, innately know that you are worthy, because who the fuck decides that? You. I can say this. I've seen this in myself. When I was about to open the first facilitator training, I spent days convincing myself I wasn't ready. The curriculum needed more work. I needed to re-record that video. The website wasn't ready. I just do one more review. And then I just remember thinking, I've been working on this for years. I know what I'm doing. I've done it myself. What exactly isn't ready? Because it for sure was not the content. All it was my nervous system, not the curriculum, not the website. The part of me that was about to be seen at full scale for the first time. The part of me that had been in rooms with people in their worst moments for over a decade now had to stand up and say, I built something, come and see. That part of me wanted to disappear. Like, was this my new career? Being an interior designer, which, by the way, is very much easier to say I'm an interior designer than I'm a breathwork facilitator. For me, that took a long time to be okay with. I almost let it stop me. And this happened again recently when I then launched Business Builders. Wild. I'd put myself in rooms, 40K programs. I'm in there going, I have zero idea what's happening right now. They're using terms I don't understand. So I worked my butt off to understand. I love learning. I love creating. And I almost thought, why am I doing this? Does anyone even care? If you're running a business, a service-based business, you will want to care because months, years, and a lot of money understanding this process. And then I kept adding more and more and more. So this Business Builders program is massive. All anyone really wants at the start is to get their business up and running in 48 hours. So that is the first part of the program, because this whole chunk you're going to need later. But in this day and age, you need to make money fast. What do you want done? Set that up fast. Again, you're paying for results. You're paying for someone else to do it for you. It is worth it. So here's what I need you to understand. The people that move through the threshold The ones who actually take the leap and make the decision to cross the next level, they all feel exactly the same thing. You're not alone. You're not special. Everyone feels the same activation, the same contraction, the same pull to retreat. It's easy to run away, right? They are not braver. They are not more confident. They are not more ready. I promise you. Their nervous system has simply been trained to stay present through activation without interpreting it as a stop sign. Let me say that again. They have trained their nervous system to feel the activation of expansion and not mistake it as a threat or a reason to pause. That is a learnable skill. That is the Vidya daily practice. I just want to say this so many times to everybody. And maybe people don't get it until they need it. I'm not sure. I wish everybody to do it before they need it because this is not a personality trait. It's not a gift. It's not something you were born with or without. We all breathe. It is built through practice, consistent, daily, direct work with your nervous system. Your breath is the only thing that is going to change your nervous system. What this looks like in real terms, when you hit or millionaires hit the threshold, their chest tightens, their breath shortens, they don't push through. They don't ignore it either. They don't white knuckle their way past it. They pause, they breathe. They deliberately shift their nervous system into a state before they make that big decision because they know a decision made from a sympathetic activation or a freeze response is not a decision they would make when they are regulated. And they cannot afford financially, physically, emotionally to keep making decisions from a threatened body. It's not going to work. It may work for a few times and then it won't. I worked with a founder last year and she described a moment in a team meeting where a conversation had turned towards a big opportunity to grow their business. It would significantly expand their business. Old her would have just gone quiet in the meeting. She needed to think about it, go home, convinced herself that it wasn't the right time because our bodies are good at that, right? Oh no, maybe not now. Maybe it's not the right time. The new identity that had been doing this nervous system work for 8 months, she noticed a contraction in her chest. She took one slow exhale under the table. Nobody noticed. She felt her feet on the floor, grounded. She let her system know that she wasn't in a threat. And then she made the decision and said yes. This is what it looks like in real time. That exhale took 8 seconds. It was double the length of her inhale. Nobody knew she did it. But that was built on 8 months of daily practice that had trained her system to respond differently to activation. You cannot fake that moment. You can only build it. And that is possible in real time. I don't expect everyone to close their eyes and start doing the Vidya daily practice, but I do know that you can do 3 belly breaths in that moment. You can feel your body regulate in that time. If you get to 3 and you realize I don't have time, you need another 4. I'm going to give you a practice now. This is the one I use, the one I teach, the one that Vidya graduates use. This is the main one they have in their toolkit. You can do this right now, wherever you are, before a hard conversation, before you send the email, before you make the call, before you have that conversation. It takes no more than 3 minutes. Are you ready? Begin by finding a comfortable position, sitting, lying, wherever you are. You can close your eyes or keep them open and just take a natural breath first. Just notice what's already happening. Is your breath high in your chest, short, held? Just notice. No judgment. Now we're going to work with your exhale. So the exhale starts to activate your parasympathetic nervous system. So as you breathe in, feel the belly rise. And as you exhale, slowly out through the mouth for 8 counts. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathing in for 4. And a long, slow exhale Beautiful. Do one more. This is putting your body into your rest and digest. The exhale is your signal to your body the threat is over. Now just come back to a breath that's natural for this moment. Notice what shifted, even in 3 breaths. The chest may have dropped slightly. The jaw may have relaxed. The thoughts may have just slowed. This is not a placebo. This is your vagus nerve receiving a direct signal from your own breath. Because remember, your breath is the only way you can move the autonomic nervous system. This practice is in the Vidya app, the full version with extended guidance, music, and integration. It's all there waiting for you. This is one of many to build your toolkit for the survival of life. Have the best day. Much love. Take care. Ciao. That is a wrap. The Dark Side with Verity. Thank you for joining and being here to support our guests as they move, shift, and share through real transformation, sharing their stories from the darkest of places, allowing you to see their light. This is where the change will happen. You know the drill. Like, share, chat about it, connect with us. We're here for more, and you know it.